Hey Rev, we are so excited that you decided to join us on our very first Hub Night. We have such an exciting night planned. We're gonna go over our Bible project videos. We're gonna hear about our new offering project and have so much fun. There's a student in our ministry and her name's Chloe. She's in grade 12 and she came to us with this idea because she has this passion in this heart for this organization called Classrooms for Africa. And Chloe asked if we would be willing at Rev from grade 6 all the way to grade 12 to raise money for Classrooms for Africa. So in a moment, you're gonna watch an interview with me and Corey, who is the CEO and co-owner of Classrooms for Africa, and just talking about the why and the where and hear stories about this organization. Here at Rev, we have decided that we are going to commit to raising $2,000 for Classrooms for Africa. And pretty much what that is going to get us and what's gonna go towards them is 20 desks for the classrooms that they build over there for kids who are going to school for the very first time. These classrooms set them up for a brighter future in jobs and careers, which some of them don't have a chance without being able to go to school. And so I just want you to get ready for this interview. I want you to posture your hearts and I want you to listen to the words and the stories that Corey shares, because I want us at Rev to commit to this goal and from now into December, raise $2,000. And I want you to think, whether you're in middle school or high school, what can you do to help this project as we go in this journey together? We love you, enjoy the video, and we will see you later. Hi Rev, I am here with Corey, and Corey is the co-founder and CEO of the organization called Classrooms for Africa, which we are partnering with in our new offering project, which we are so excited to do. And so Corey, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and more about your role at Classrooms for Africa?
Sure. My father-in-law and I, we co-founded Classrooms for Africa in 2008. And we wanted to help the world look a little bit better. We're really taken by Nelson Mandela, who said, education is the most powerful weapon to change the world. And what a better place to do that than to help children have a good education. We're really privileged here with the education that we do receive. And so we wanted to try to do that in our own way in Africa, where my wife and my father-in-law are from.
Right. Yeah, and so maybe you can just share a little bit about, as we jump on this journey and partnering with you guys, what does Classrooms for Africa do? What do they do overseas? And yeah.
We build classrooms in Africa.
Right.
So we laugh sometimes because people will say, well, what do you do? We build classrooms in Africa. Then the next question is, well, where do you build them?
Right.
Africa. We've done projects in the last dozen years or so in about 14 or 15 different countries in Africa. Currently we're doing a lot of schools and classrooms in East and West Africa and Southern Africa.
Okay, really cool. And so do you get to go overseas and see these classrooms be done? How does your role look like when it comes to Classrooms for Africa and the project of actually building the classrooms?
Yeah, so what we do is, both my father-in-law and I, we've got deep connections in Africa. These are people who are our friends, mostly rural villages, and where children would maybe meet under a tree, or there might be a mud hut or something like that, and they're trying to learn. But it's hard to learn if it's raining on you all the time, or you don't have an environment that you can actually learn from. So one of the pieces that we've been able to give back is we will help schools develop their physical buildings in such a way that helps to enhance the learning. And what we do know is that if a child can stay in school through grade 12, their chances to break the cycle of material poverty incrementally increase.
Wow. Yeah, and so I'm sure that's within poverty and all those reasons is why you're passionate about Classrooms for Africa. And maybe can you just highlight some of the reasons on the why, and even why you're so passionate about it, and why you want to see a youth group like Rev raise money for classrooms like this?
Well, I think it's pretty tangible. Like, it's when we all go to our classrooms, it's, you know, in a building, it's covered, we sit. And sometimes maybe we take that a little bit for granted because the learning environment is natural for us. And that's not true for a lot of children.
Right.
You know, I'll give you an example of how that works. And we came across this one school, and this happened to be in Uganda. And in their district, their test scores, they were 101 out of 102 schools. The school is really small. And we came alongside them and we did two things. We helped them to build classrooms, obviously, and we put desks in classrooms. We also helped with teacher training. And over a 3-year window, they went from 101st to #1 in their district over a 4-year period in their test scores. And what that means to the children who go to those schools is the school grew exponentially from about 200 to about 1,000 students. And the students that were graduating had a far better chance of going on to college and university and finding jobs in places where unemployment could be 80 or 90%. And the ability to stay in school is really important. Very important, especially for girls to stay in school. So we've done several schools that are girl-only schools.
Okay. And so how many schools, I don't know if you know this number off the top of your head, but how many schools or how many classrooms has Classrooms for Africa built or have supported and raised money for?
Over 500.
Okay.
So when we started, our big dream was to do 300 schools.
Wow.
300 classrooms.
Yeah.
And about 2 years ago, we actually reached that dream that we thought was unattainable. And so the new dream is we're going to do 1,000.
Right.
And the 500 schools would represent probably about 20,000 students that would be in those classrooms each year. And so it keeps on going and going. Part of our philosophy is we want to find schools that are funding themselves because we like it when people are not dependent on us, but we can, as brothers and sisters, help our friends around the world to do that. So they're run by locals, they're not run by Westerners, and we come alongside to help them. And here's the truth, we actually, and we do go visit, so we've got a process that we do, and we go visit all these schools. Often I'll take students with me to visit. We don't send builders over because they can build far better than we do. And it's an amazing thing to see when a school is built or when desks are put into a building, the excitement that students have just because they view it as a gift to have education.
Right. Yeah. And in a culture and in a country where we get to go to school so quickly, it's so almost hard to even know or even recognize that in another country there's kids who get to actually walk into a building maybe for the first time and sit at a desk for the first time. And it's almost like we take that for granted that we here in Canada and here in Langley and Abbotsford and where all we live, we just get to walk into our school every day. And so it's beautiful what you guys are doing, and we're so excited to partner alongside you guys. And so it's more than just the actual building. There's actually things inside of it. And so what does like a full project look like for Classrooms for Africa?
Yeah, so for us, we realized when we first started, we were building the classrooms and they would sit in the classrooms, but they would sit on the floor. So we realized that, we needed to offer a little bit of help in actually equipping classrooms that would equip good teaching. So such things as desks, which, you guys are involved with. It's an amazing thing when students can sit, and chalkboards, and sometimes even materials that students and teachers can use, and connecting them with other people that we know and partners to do better teacher training, have better materials for students in classes.
Yeah, and having these classrooms is a long-term investment to the community and to the country. And so what is one way that you at Classrooms for Africa partners with obviously the schools and the people teaching in the schools, but the whole community as a whole where you build these classrooms?
Yeah, one of the things that we require is that each community has to own the project and have inputs of about 25% of what the actual costs are. Now it's rarely money. What it normally is parents giving labor, parents clearing ground, helping with the building projects. And what we found is that if we go build something, we own that and we fix it. We don't want to do that.
Right.
We want people to not be dependent on us. We want to be able to be a blessing to people and give them a real hand up
Right.
in that. So when the community's involved, they own it.
Right.
It's kind of like, think of the first really nice thing that you got, and you spent money on it, or you invested your time and your energy into. When you do that, you take care of that. You own it. You're a part of that. So we want to empower the communities to come alongside a school and to own that and feel like it's theirs.
Right.
So we've seen that as a very positive way to build community within a school, and we're actually incubators of what that looks like.
Right.
One of the unintended things that happened when we built schools is we're actually seeing schools plant churches.
Okay.
And
Cool.
it's interesting because if you gather, we deal with Christian schools. Not everybody obviously is a Christian in the school, but it's a Christian ideology. And it's interesting, when believers gather together and Jesus seems to, this terrible word, ooze out of you. You ever notice somebody, you just know they're a Christian? It's like the Holy Spirit's all over them, and you almost want to say, I know you're Christian.
Yeah.
And so what happens with these schools that are Christian schools, that if there's not a local church, we found that these schools are actually planting churches as a result of that. We had one school call us and they asked us, do you think it would be okay if we planted a church in the school building? And I kind of laughed because I'm thinking, don't be asking me.
Right.
That's awesome. You go and do that. And I remember this one school, they, the government noticed in this community, which was nothing, and they built a school. And it grew in such a way that the government came and they wanted to name a town because families were coming into the area. And this school had planted one church already, and then they asked us if they could plant another one because the one they planted was already full.
Wow.
So it was an amazing thing to see how the Bible just become alive.
Right. Through just building a classroom.
Just building a classroom.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, thank you for sharing your heart about Classrooms for Africa. We at Rev were excited to partner alongside you guys. We're excited to provide 20 desks for you guys. And so, yeah, thank you. Rev, we have offering buckets in each of the small group rooms that you guys are currently in. And I just want you guys to think, and I want you to pray about what you can do in this project as we look at this from now until December and raising $2,000 for this project. And so if you didn't bring money this week, that is totally okay. We'll see you in 2 weeks for our service night. And I just want you to think and pray and talk to your family about what you can do to help Classrooms for Africa and partner with what we're doing. And just build classrooms in another country for kids so they can go to school and invest in a lifetime and invest in a country. We love you, and we will see you later.